I suspected, but I hoped I was wrong. Susie and I have been married for 7 years and have 2 kids, boys ages 4 and 6. I have a good job in upper management with a tech company. Susie wanted to work, and that was not a problem with me. We had dreams of retiring one day and living the good life. Know what I mean? She worked at a small company in the accounting department. She always left home at the same time as I did in the mornings, and we took turns dropping the boys off at daycare and preschool. We texted during the day, and I usually picked the kids up on my way home in the afternoon. She was always there putting together our supper. We played with the kids, watched a little television, put the kids to bed, then enjoyed our adult time. Usually 3 times during the week and always a couple more times on the weekends. There were never any complaints from either of us. About 3 months ago, a new lady was hired at her company. They became instant friends for some reason, maybe because this woman was married and had 2 boys the same age as our boys. We ended up spending a couple of weekends back and forth at each other's houses for barbecue and play dates with the boys. I was not fond of either of them. The woman smoked and ordered her husband around like she was a queen and he was her slave. Definitely not like a partner in a marriage. The man was such a wimp. When she chastised him about spilling his beer, he drank a lot. He apologized like an abused child. 2 weeks ago, we were at their house. Susie and his wife Anne were in the house preparing us a snack. The kids were all watching the latest Disney movie, and this guy, Paul, and I were sitting on the back deck drinking. I still had my first beer, and he was working on his third. It was obvious he had a few before we arrived. He was slurring his words when he said, "I would never have suspected you. I always thought you were so big and macho. I guess they come in all shapes and sizes." To be honest, I was ready to go 15 minutes after we arrived, but I was putting up with this drunk out on the back deck just to keep him away from the kids. "What are you talking about?" "Being a No one would believe you are one." "What gives you the idea that I am a cold?" I answered. "You let your wife go out every week with Anne. What the hell do you think they are doing? Girl talk until midnight?" "Okay, I need to explain some things. About 2 months ago, Susie had started going out on Wednesday nights with the girls from her work. The first couple of weeks she was home around 8 that night. She said they had dinner and a drink or two. Then she came home at 11:30 one night. After she showered and got in bed, she explained that they had got to talking about a problem at work and time had just slipped away from her. She needed the shower because Anne smoked and she hated that smell in her hair. She was too tired, so we snuggled and went to sleep. Then getting home around midnight had become a regular thing for the last 2 weeks. I love my wife. I trusted her. But I did get suspicious when she was not as amorous the nights she went out with the girls. She always showered with the same explanation that she smelled like smoke. Last Wednesday, I checked her clothes. They did smell like smoke, but I could not find her panties in the hamper. They were hanging on the handrail in the shower. She had washed them. Why? That is why I was so curious about this cuckolding comment. "So you think our wives go out each week and hook up?" "I know they do," he burped loudly. "About a year ago, I saw a hickey on one of Anne's breasts and a bruise on her hip. I knew I had not put them on her, and I confronted her. She admitted one of her black bulls had gotten a little rough with her." "Why are you still with her? You should have divorced her when—" I tried to reply. "The same reason you will still be with Susie when she finally tells you. We live in a no-fault state. If I divorce her or she divorces me, it makes no difference. She gets alimony, child support for 2 kids, the house and I pay for everything. That would put me in a shabby apartment eating cat food. That's why I'm still with her." "What about your relationship? Do you still have intimacy with her knowing she's being unfaithful?" "Oh, hell yes. That's part of the deal. I'm with her whenever she wants, even after she's been out. I think she enjoys making me do that." "How can she make you do that?" I asked. "As I said, if I don't do what she wants when she wants it, she will divorce me. Cat food, remember?" "So how often does she go out?" I asked. "A couple times a week. Susie only goes out with her once a week, and the other nights we are home together. I replied. That will change. She'll start going to parties. At first, she will say it is a baby shower or a wedding shower. She'll give you a good excuse for being gone until 2 or 3 in the morning. Then she'll have a headache or her period or just be so tired for a couple of days. Wait and see. The girls came out on the deck about that time, so nothing more was said. In a couple of hours, we were back at home. Susie busied herself with the boys while I retreated to my man cave to do some work on the computer. That night, it was me that was too tired when I finally came to bed. I am not a wait-and-see type of guy, as Paul had suggested. Wednesday came and I got a text that Susie and the girls were going out and she may be late getting home. I fed the boys and got them in bed after some boring television. I completed my work in my man cave and then sat my ass in the living room to wait for Susie. It was 12:15 a.m. when I heard her key in the door. As she entered the room, I flipped the light on and she almost jumped out of her skin. Damn, Jack, you scared me. What are you doing up at this hour? Waiting for you to get home from the Mandingo Club. Were you able to hook up with a black bull? I asked. Jack, what are you insinuating? That I am cheating on you? We had dinner then got to talking. Don't even start lying, you know what I do for a living. I know where you were and what you were doing. Technology is amazing. It was then that she smiled, that wicked, evil smile. I knew what was coming. So what? There is nothing you can do about it. If I want to have every black banana in the city, you'll just have to put up with it. This is a no-fault state. Divorce me and I'll get alimony and child support for 2 kids. You'll pay the house note and the kids' tuition. You might get to see your boys once a month if you are lucky. I'll move one of my bulls in here to help with the kids and there is not a damn thing you can do about it. You'll be living in a shitty little apartment and eating tuna fish out of a can, so just get over it. Anyway, this is probably just a passing fantasy with me. Maybe a year, maybe 2 or 3, and I'll be over my fascination with big black bananas. Then we can get back to the lives we have planned. Now I'm going to take a shower and get ready for bed. You better be there when I get there. You know how I like you to spoon with me at night. That little speech was rehearsed. I am betting it was prepared for her by Anne. I got up and cut the light off, then walked up the stairs. She did not try to kiss or hug me. In bed that night, I did spoon with her. No sloppy seconds or black cream pies. The next morning, things went back to normal. I did not want to upset the boys any more than they were going to be in a few weeks. Before she left for work, Susie told me there was going to be a baby shower Saturday night, and she was going with Anne. I grinned and looked at her. You never were a good liar, Susie. If I have to accept you having with a bunch of blacks, you should at least tell me the truth about where you are going. One of Anne's black friends is having a party and I'm invited. I'll be home around 3 a.m. or so, she replied. See, that was not so hard, was it? I answered. Jack, I love you, I always will. This is just something, you know, a fantasy. Nothing more. Susie, I have had plenty of fantasies over the past years, but I never acted on them. No, this is cheating. Not only on me and our marriage vows, but the boys also. I have to put up with it because of the laws in this state, but it is cheating, I replied. I think you better change your attitude. Things can get a lot worse for you, she replied. I'm trying. I just need some time. This is all just so different for me, but I'm getting there little by little, I answered. See you later. She left smiling. She thinks I am on my way to becoming her cuckold. She could not be more wrong. I took off early and went by her favorite lingerie store in the mall. When she got home, I treated her like a queen. I ran her a bubble bath, then laid the new lingerie on the bed. She was excited. I made a big production of helping her dress and then having her walk around the room posing like a runway model. I told her how much I loved her and that we could work this out. She attacked me, smothering me with kisses, then giving me a great BJ. After I came the 4th time that night, we called it quits. I think I have enough of her recording that I can edit it down to maybe 20 minutes with just her. My face will be blurred out. On Saturday night, I watched her dress for the party. She is going to be a big hit, that's for sure. I recorded her getting dressed. I think I will be able to use that also. She air-kissed me when she heard Anne blow the horn. "Don't wait up," she shouted as she walked excitedly out the door. The boys were already in bed, so I went directly to the man cave. I have a lot of work to do. It was almost 5 a.m. when I heard her stumbling up the stairs. "Jack, come help me, please." "Sure, baby. Rough night?" I replied. Anne and I were the only girls at the party. There were 8 bulls. "Susie, hold your voice down or you'll wake the boys," I replied. She is obliviously drunk, but I suspect she is high on something like Molly, ecstasy. I can't get her to shut up. I finally got her upstairs and undressed. That's when I noticed the hickeys. She had them on both sides of her neck and on the top of her breasts. She saw me looking at them. "They marked me so that you would know what I had been doing. I told them you already knew, but they marked me anyway. Look what they did," she answered. She dropped her skirt to the floor, and I saw what she was talking about. Just above her red landing strip were the words, "Black Banana Woman," written in black ink. Then 8 sets of initials. She turned, and I saw, "Jamal was here," written on her back with an arrow pointing to her hole. It's kind of exciting, don't you think? Again, I did not answer. "Where are your bra and panties?" I asked. "They were taken as trophies," she answered. I made her sit there until I decided that everything that was going to drain out of her was out before I helped her into the shower. I was afraid she would fall, so I slipped out of my boxers and got in with her. I washed her and used the handheld shower to douche both her front and back. I guess the water hitting that swollen front got her going again. She hugged me and whispered in my ear, "I love you, Jack. You always take such good care of me. I'm still pretty stretched out and sore, but let me give you a BJ." Before I could answer, she was on her knees. She gives a great BJ. I'm going to miss that. When we were finished, I patted her dry and got her in bed. I let her sleep through breakfast with the boys. I made pancakes and told them Mommy was sick. It was 2 p.m. before she stumbled into the kitchen. She was hungry, so I made her some pancakes. She ate and drank a glass of orange juice, listened to the boys for about 10 minutes, then said she was going back to bed. That was fine with me. While the boys watched a movie, I retreated to my cave and made final arrangements with Mr. Mugabe. He had won the bidding. Do you know that over 250,000 girls and women go missing each year in the United States alone? I also bet that you do not know that there are 6 countries in Africa that allow slavery and have active slave markets. The Democratic Republic of Congo is one of those countries. It also happens to have the world's largest supply of cobalt, which is used in those electric cars everyone thinks is the future of transportation. Some Africans have made millions of dollars using slave labor to supply that cobalt. You won't hear about that at any clean air protest. At my job, I spend a lot of time tracking cyber criminals on the dark web. It was there that I had offered Susie. There was a picture of her with this description under it. She is a 26-year-old, natural red-haired beauty. She stands 5 foot 7 inches tall and weighs 115 pounds. She has 34C breasts with hardly any sag. Her eyes are green, and her skin is a brilliant ivory color, typical of natural redheads. She enjoys intimacy of all types and is addicted to big black bananas. Bidding starts at $50,000. I also attached the video. I closed the bidding when it reached $115,000 and contacted her new owner. After a few emails, I told him I would accept $100,000 if he would provide me with certain things. He agreed. Susie did not go to work Monday. I imagined she stayed in bed again all day. She did have dinner ready when the boys and I got home. Tuesday was a normal day as she went to work. Wednesday around noon, I got a text that she was going out with Anne after work. I guess she is feeling better. She was home just before midnight, showered, and came to bed. I did not ask. Thursday night, after the boys were in bed, I invited her into my man cave for a talk. "Susie, I've been thinking a lot about this new lifestyle of yours, or ours, I guess. I think I am ready to join you." She is grinning like the cat who ate the canary. "Thank you. You will be so happy. We'll take it slow at first. I won't rush you into anything you can't easily accept. But soon you'll find out, just like Paul did, that it can be so rewarding for you also. She is starting to get too far ahead. Baby, I want us to take a vacation. Get away from town for a few days. I think I would be more at ease away from anyone we know for my first time. I've given this a lot of thought, and I booked us a flight to the Cape Verde Islands off the coast of Africa. You can lay on the beach during the day and I'll watch you flirt with all the Africans. Then at night we'll go to a club where I can watch as you dance with different black men. When you have decided which one you want to be intimate with, you invite him back to our room, explaining to him that I like to watch. I'll do it any way you want, like standing in a corner watching or sitting naked in a chair while you are intimate with him. After he leaves, I'll eat you to an orgasm. She jumped out of her chair and sat in my lap, kissing and thanking me. She promised to be an understanding and gentle mistress, not as overbearing as Anne is with Paul. She promised that she would always see to my needs. Whatever the hell she meant by that, I have no idea. She was so glad I had finally accepted my situation. She even mentioned how happy that bitch Anne would be for us. Susie told me that there was another party this Saturday night, but she was not going. She would be too busy shopping, packing, and making arrangements for the boys since we were leaving Sunday evening. She actually said she did not want to be sore for the trip. Tuesday, we were in a 4-star hotel in the capital city of Praia. The beach is beautiful, and there were plenty of black bulls working at the hotel or walking around in the streets to keep my wife interested. Susie seemed very happy, and when I suggested we make love before going down to supper, she was all for it. I found her to be dripping wet. I showered first, then dressed, and told Susie I would meet her in the restaurant in an hour, as she wanted to take a bubble bath before she dressed. No problem, I had some things to go over with Mr. Mugabe. I found him waiting in the restaurant sipping a drink. He was just as I envisioned him. He is 40 years old and stands about 6'4", weighing around 240 with a shaved head. He stood as I approached and we shook hands. The 2 men with him were introduced as his personal security. He was dressed in what looked like an Italian suit, which probably cost him $5,000, and was wearing a watch easily worth $15,000. When we sat, he smiled and said he had wired the money this afternoon when he received the pictures of us checking into the hotel. I told him I had gotten a notification from my bank that they had received the money. He suggested a scenario for this evening that I agreed with. I was just finishing my drink when Susie walked into the restaurant. She looked amazing. "Introduce me to your friends," she told me as she smiled at Mr. Mugabe. He had stood as she approached the table and he took her hand. "I am Winston Mugabe. These 2 are part of my security team." He pulled her chair out and she sat down. "Jack told me his wife would be joining him for supper, but I had no idea you would be such a lovely creature. You are absolutely the most stunning woman I have seen since arriving here." Susie's eyes have not left his. "Why, thank you, Mr. Mugabe. Are you here in the islands on vacation like us?" she asked. "Both business and pleasure. I arrived on my yacht 2 days ago and completed my business this afternoon. I decided to delay my return for a couple of days. Now that I have met you, I am glad I did." "I am sorry. I do not mean to interrupt your supper," he answered. He started to stand when she put her hand on his. "No, don't go. Stay and have supper with us. We can talk and you can tell me all about Africa." He sat back down, raised his hand, and snapped his fingers. 2 waiters ran to the table. "I'll join you, but it is my treat." He ordered something in his native language and then dismissed the waiters. Susie was enraptured listening to him talk about his tribe and how he was the oldest prince in line for the throne. He had been educated in England and now ran their cobalt mines. Dinner came, and it was some fish I did not recognize. We were finishing when we heard the band start up in the club. He invited us to join him, and he took Susie's hand and led her across the lobby into the club. I slowly followed. We found a table, and he immediately ordered a round of drinks. It was not long until he asked her to dance. I may as well have been one of the chairs because Susie never looked at me. She molded herself to him on the dance floor. They had danced for about 15 minutes. When they were back at the table, he said he needed to make a phone call and walked into the lobby. That's when Susie started talking. "This guy is perfect. He is rich, well-educated, and hung like a horse. You are going to enjoy watching me. I will go wild when that black snake worms its way into my womb. When he gets back, I'm going to invite him up to our room. I'll tell him you like to watch, so be on your best behavior. Jack, if you mess this up for me, I'll ask him to have his bodyguards rough you up, understand?" "I understand I won't be a problem," I replied. This woman has gone from threatening to ruin me financially to threatening to physically harm me. I assured her I would play my part. In the years we had been together, I had never heard Susie talk like that. He walked back to the table and sat down. "A problem?" she asked. "No, nothing like that. Just something I needed to handle back home before it gets too late," he replied. "Why don't we take this party to our room? My woman can be direct." He looked into her eyes and he asked about me. "He won't bother us, he likes to watch," she answered. "Mugabe knows the true reason why she is here." "That's totally fine with me, but I would like our first time to be special. Just you and me, if that is all right with you. I'll extend my stay and we'll have plenty of time to play games over the next few days. How about tonight we go back to my yacht and spend some time getting to know one another?" he asked. Susie never looked at me or asked for my approval or permission. "I'd love that," was her answer. There was no kiss goodbye or even a glance at me as he took her hand and walked out into the lobby. That was the last time I saw my wife, Susie. After they left, I finished my drink as I watched people on the dance floor, mostly elegantly dressed black men dancing with white tourists. I never regretted for 1 minute what I had done. The $100,000 will be put into a college fund for the boys. I went to the room and packed all of Susie's things in her 2 suitcases. As I was finishing, there was a knock at my door. I was expecting it. One of Mugabe's bodyguards took the suitcases and handed me an envelope before he walked off without saying a word. I stayed the rest of the week lying on the beach and wandering through the shops in town. I flew home on our scheduled flight, without Susie, of course. Back at home, I told the boys Mama had decided to stay on the islands a little longer. I was putting off the pain as long as I could. It was 3 days later that Anne called. I told her the story that Susie had met a rich African and ran off with him. She did not believe me. She kept shouting, "What did you do to her?" as I hung up the phone. The next afternoon, she showed up at my door with a black detective. He wanted to know where my wife was and why I had not filed a missing person report. "She is not missing, that's why. The last time I saw her, she was leaving with a black man to spend the night on his yacht. Before I left, I checked with immigration and found this." I showed him a copy of Susie's passport. It had an exit stamp showing that she had left the Cape Verde Islands 3 days before I had left. "On the internet, I found this." I handed him a copy of an email. It showed her entry into the Democratic Republic of the Congo 6 days later. "That's where that woman is, living like a queen while I take care of the kids and all the bills. I can't believe she did this to me." The detective thanked me for my time. Then they turned and walked back to his car. I did not miss the fact that his hand was on Anne's back the entire time. I guess he is one of her bulls, and he was doing her a favor. She'll probably pay him back in the car on the way to her house. Then she'll kiss Paul. That could have been me getting that kiss if I had not taken action. I used the copies of Susie's passport that Mugabe had furnished me to file for divorce. It took a while, but I was finally free of that cheating woman, and I was not eating tuna fish out of a can. Revenge is a dish best served cold, taken from Dangerous Liaisons, written by Pierre Choderlos de Laclos in 1782. It was about 5 months later, as I was sitting at a small cafe eating lunch, when Anne's husband, Paul, sat down uninvited. After exchanging a few pleasantries, he started talking about his relationship with Anne. Things had not gotten any better. In fact, they were worse. A lot worse. She has me wearing a banana cage. I haven't had a climax in over a month. Why? I asked. She said I embarrassed her in front of one of her friends. How? I asked. I was tidying up after him when he got aroused again. He wanted me to continue, but I refused. Now I'm stuck in this situation indefinitely. I wish she would find some rich guy with a big banana and leave me for him. You know, like Susie did you. Man, you were lucky. Yeah, very lucky, I answered. He got up out of his chair, very gingerly, and left. But it got me thinking. All the problems Susie and I had were caused by Anne. That woman should be made to pay. After the kids were asleep that night, I came up with a plan. Susie was going to send Anne an email. Well, not really, but it was sure going to look like she did. First, I contacted Mr. Mugabe and asked if he would be interested in a 28-year-old blonde who is as pretty as Susie. I told him her story and he offered $50,000 sight unseen. If she truly is as pretty as Susie, he would send another $25,000 when he took delivery. I said I would let him know when to expect delivery. I could not help but ask about Susie. It had been almost 5 months, and I was curious. She wore on my nerves very quickly. She is now working 3 shows a night at one of my clubs and doing very well. She accepted the training quicker than most, and now seems very happy. You should come to visit her sometime. I am sure you would enjoy watching her perform. Then he laughed. I doubt Susie was enjoying much of anything these days. After cutting the connection, I started working on the email from Susie to Anne. Dear Anne, I am sorry it has been so long since I have contacted you. My life is a dream. You would not believe it. First, I was accepted into Winston's tribe. You would have loved that ceremony. It was shared by all the members of his royal family. Then the wedding. More sharing. Africans love to share. Then we flew to Paris on the family's private jet. My new husband let me shop. Shopping in Paris, buying anything I wanted. Now I am back in Kinshasa living in a palace. I do absolutely nothing. We have maids, gardeners, and slave girls who wait on me hand and foot. Some days I play all day in the pool, lying about while getting pampered like the queen I will be one day. But I miss you. We had such fun together. We made the most interesting and exciting plans. I owe you so much. I think about you all the time. I wish you would consider taking your vacation in Africa this year. Leave that husband with the kids and visit me. We'll take the yacht and cruise the coast. I'll get Winston to bring his brother Montgomery along. He is not married, and believe me, he is every bit as big as Winston. You'll love him. I could even get you accepted into their tribe. You know how much I love watching you with a group. Think about it. Love you, Susie. I sent that, and within an hour I got a reply. Dear Susie, so glad to hear from you. Your life sounds so exciting. I am so happy for you and appreciate that you credited me with getting you away from the boring life you had here. Mine is about the same as it was when you were here. I still go out on Wednesday nights and party most weekends, so I won't go into it. You know the drill. Oh, one thing is different. I have Paul in a banana cage. After I had Jamal slapped him around, he did it, but for embarrassing me, I put him in the cage. It has been over a month now. He cries and begs me to take it off. I like your idea of a vacation. We had planned on taking the kids to Disney World next month. I could let Paul do that trip, and I could go see you. But like always, it is about the money. We cannot afford the ticket to Africa and the tickets to Orlando right now. It took us 2 years to save for the trip to Disney. But Monty sounds interesting. Keep in touch, Anna. Not to sound too anxious, I waited 2 days before responding. Dear Anne, sorry it took so long to write you back. We went on a visit to the mines. We flew in helicopters over the jungle and through the mountains. Africa is so beautiful. There we stayed in our home, away from home. It is another mansion complete with everything a girl needs to be happy, meaning lots of young male and female slaves to do her bidding. Don't worry about the money. Tell me the date you can come and the date you have to return, and I'll have it all arranged for you. Bring summer clothes and bikinis. Love you, Susie." The reply with the dates was almost immediate. An hour later, I had made all the flight arrangements for Mrs. Ann Jones to fly to Kinshasa in the DRC. It was a round-trip ticket, but she would only use half of it. She was never coming home. Mr. Mugabe was pleased with Ann and sent me another $25,000. The day before she was scheduled to come home, I sent Paul an email from Ann's email account telling him she had met someone and was staying in Africa. Short and sweet. It was about 2 weeks later, as I sat having lunch, that Paul again sat down across from me. Uninvited, of course. "I want to thank you." "For what?" I asked. "I don't know how you did it, but I just came from my attorney and he said I should not have any problems divorcing that Ann." "What happened?" I asked. "No, I am not going to play this game with you. Again, thank you." He got up and left the restaurant. I did notice he was moving normally again. There are always options. And that's the end of today's story. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Your support helps the algorithm push my content further. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep creating more stories for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.